What is
Hey,
going on, everybody? Welcome to the second installment of Wicked Wednesday. If you missed Christina Bloom's show earlier, I believe her guest was Glenn Bottis. I think I'm pronouncing his last name correctly. I'm not positive on that.
yep.
Um, Welcome to the Paranormal Unveiled podcast. I am your host, Nathaniel Elwell, as you guys already know. Tonight we have a special guest co-host because Gwen was like, "Oh, I can't do it." No, I'm just joking. She, y'all know she has shoulder surgery. You know, she's out for a little bit. She's feeling a little bit which is actually kind of typical for her, to be honest. But we have a great show lined up. My special guest co-host tonight is none other than Jeremy Cotter from Twisted Tales.
Hey, man. Thank you very much, Nate, for letting me come on the show and fill in for Gwen. I know, we always have each other's backs here on the network, no matter what. And we always have each other's backs on Wicked Wednesdays on top of all of that. Yeah, I saw Christina Bloom's show earlier. The Importance of Joy was really
Okay.
interesting episode. I did catch bits and pieces of it when I was on break at work. So it's really cool, man. But yeah, thanks for having me on the Paranormal Unveiled tonight. Looking forward to it.
You know, it was a last minute thing. I was expecting Gwen, but like he said, about an hour before the show, we get a message. Hey, I'm not feeling up to it. Blah blah blah. Um, Gwen, it's all good. We know you're not feeling well. Next week, I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm having some teeth pulled on Monday, so I might just be sitting over here with chipmunk cheek, not asking anything, and just sending a list of questions to whoever's helping me do it next week. We'll see. But we got a great show lined up for you guys tonight with my special guest co-host Jeremy. So the person that's coming on tonight, he has been on my show. He was on here last year. We hit on a lot of different things, but we left a lot of things also unfinished. We have some loose ends to tie up. And I also have a feeling that this will not be the last time you see this man on my show because he is one of my good friends. He's also amazing at what he does. He's not only a psychic medium, he's a paranormal investigator, and he is a lover of all things that have to do with history, such as myself, which is why I think me and him get along so well. But please, everyone, welcome back to the Paranormal Unveiled, my good friend, Jay Hill.
What's up, brother?
Hey,
Jay, how
Joe.
we doing tonight?
Hi, Jeremy.
Hey, nice to see you.
Jeremy's so used to saying hey first off.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Best opening I've seen yet.
Right.
But so how we doing tonight, Jay?
I'm not doing too bad. Living the dream.
You know what? Every day I go to work, I'm living the dream. I just don't know whose fucking dream it is.
Right. Or whose nightmare it is.
Yeah, or how I got there.
I agree with the nightmare situation. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Jay, I want to start off by I know you've been on a few shows on the network now, and if people have not seen those shows, could you tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do in the paranormal?
Well, my name's Jay Hill. I have like 4 or 5 other podcasts that I do. I started doing podcasting about 5-6 years ago. My first podcast show was Studio 6 Paranormal Podcast with Shane Feek.
Yes.
And I started doing that podcast in a haunted location, actually, not too far from my house. It's a hotel or a house or hotel now that was built in 1856.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I did my first year and a half. First year and a half in that place. I had great, I had activity on live. I had great guests. I had, a lot of different things happen. And yeah, it was fun. It was a great learning experience. And at the time, I think I was the only one doing that. As far as I know,
I've not seen it before.
Yeah. As far as I know, once I started doing it and people that were on the show were like, "You're doing it where?" And I'm like, "I'm actually doing it in a haunted hotel." And they thought that was just awesome,
That is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
I'm not trying to say I was a trend center, but trend center, but trend setter. Yeah, there you go.
There you
but
go.
Yeah, I'll get it out.
And for those of you who don't know, I was also on the Studio 6 show.
Yeah, I saw that in the background. Yeah, you were on that.
Yeah, I loved that show. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of podcasts, not including my own, like a little bit over 200 now. And that was probably one of my favorite ones. Like Shane has a mind that is just amazing.
Yeah, having him as a co-host was fascinating because and just to pick his brain about things that I didn't know about, and to be honest, he kind of I felt dumb. I mean, seriously, he's a smart guy.
Yes, talking to Shane for me, and I don't know if Jay, if you've ever met the guy or not. I think Jeremy has. Talking to Shane to me is like talking to Ron Yacovetti.
Yeah.
Oh,
He just,
I know, Ron.
He's so smart that he doesn't mean to, but he does
Right.
have to make you feel a little stupid sometimes.
Right. Oh yeah. And it's unintentional. It's just the fact that that's just, we're kind of simple. We're simple creatures. Come on.
Yeah, and they're both great people, and I would like to think of myself as a decently intelligent person. So when I meet someone and they make me go, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He did that a lot to me. So, but no, it was always a good time, and I was grateful for the experience.
So speaking on that, you've got what, 4 or 5 podcasts you do, correct?
Yeah.
Could you tell us a little bit about each podcast and what people can expect when they watch?
Well, I got to get them in order.
They don't have to be in order.
The last one that I came up with was unscripted from real to real, and to me, I wanted to be able to kind of talk with people who either have been behind the camera or in front of the camera, or who have been on TV in a sense, you know what I mean, where it's like more people have seen them and their experiences with that, or even, musicians that have had similar aspects, things happen to them and whatnot. And we talk about everything and anything, it's whatever it is. It's, that's why it's unscripted, because we just kind of, whatever comes out, we just start talking about it.
Okay, so it could be like paranormal, music, movies.
Right. It can be, and it doesn't even have to be paranormal. It could just be about life in general. The only thing it will never be is about politics.
Agreed.
I do not talk politics. I don't discuss politics. I just don't do it.
I have seen discussing politics ruin so many friendships.
Oh yeah, it's just yeah. There's too many hot coals out there that are just waiting to explode.
It's bad news. It is always bad news. Every time I have a conversation with somebody at work about politics, it's just like, yeah, I'm just going to turn and walk away because I've had enough of this conversation already.
And that's probably the best thing that you can do is to just walk away or not even engage it in the first place. Now, granted, I have friends who are, in different spectrums of the politics, but I don't hold it against them. I'm a pretty even keel guy, but I just don't talk about it. I don't want to get involved in it. I don't want to I don't want to argue about it. I don't want to,
it's not worth the time.
It's not, you know what I mean? So even then, I mean, that goes with the politics and the paranormal, I mean, people are, you just know who not to engage,
That is true.
And it's just, you can like their stuff, but you don't have to like their politics about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then, I mean, it's just, to me, I just don't think that politics or anything has any place in the paranormal or anything like that. It's not, we're spiritual people. We're trying to find the truth on different levels. That is a whole different beast on that other spectrum.
Yeah.
And speaking spiritually, that is some crazy shit.
Yes.
And that's why I stay way away from that. You know what I mean?
I want to say it was like about a month ago. It was a very short conversation. I had someone who had added me as a friend on Facebook, and they sent me a message like, "Oh, well, I see you're friends with this person, so I can't be friends with you." I'm like,
that's just dumb.
I was like, okay, just because I'm friends with someone, you can't be friends with me? And they were like, no, because this person did this person did this. I said, look, I'm going to stop you right there. I don't want to hear it. I remain neutral.
I've always said this too. I will not be guilty by association.
Exactly.
I've had a couple run-ins with people who said, how can you be friends with this person, this and that? And I said, whatever's between you and that person is between you and that person. I have nothing to do with it.
Exactly.
Well, how can you be friends with them? And how can you? It's like, I will not be guilty of with association. I said, I am just who I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Jeremy, by the way, I know I'm kind of used to fucking bullheading everything, man. If you got a question, tell me to shut up and jump in.
No, it's all good, man. Like I was gonna chime in on this part of the conversation where, like, my wife and I, we've been doing the paranormal for about 15 years now, and we always have the thing where we're friends with almost everybody. You know that we know just about anybody. We don't control that you don't like somebody else, but we are friends with them, and we don't tolerate that at all. I mean, I've had a couple of people say, like Jay did, or like you said, that if you don't like me, or if you like this person, I'm going to get rid of you. I'm like, well, best of luck to you on your future, and I just get rid of them because it's not worth the time, you know.
Yeah, because I'm not going to name drop anybody, but this is somebody else that I'm friends with. As a matter of fact, they were going to come on my show, but then they found out about certain things and they didn't want to come on my show. It's a guilty by association type deal thing.
Yeah.
But I'm like, well, whatever that has going on has nothing to do with me.
Right.
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 But
so yeah,
you know
so it's out there, you know what I mean? And it's kind of just, I try to keep things simple, you know. The first thing I try to do in the morning is read something inspirational or positive, because I don't want to open Facebook or Instagram or even TikTok or anything like that, and the first thing I see is BS.
Negativity.
Right, because that just sets the tone for the day. You know what I mean? And a lot of people don't realize that. You know, we are visual people. We see with our eyes, but we also experience those words. You know what I mean? We read them, we hear them. I hear those words internally when I read them. So I'm kind of weird like that. So if I read something, I automatically have an audible voice in my head that reads it for me. And I hear a voice in my head and I hear it. And that I take that internal. You know what I mean? So I started doing the whole positive thoughts with a cup of coffee. You know what I did? I started doing that. You know what I mean? Or the coffee thought of a day. You know what I mean? And it would be something that I would just do on Facebook, that it would just kind of, I would pick something that would resonate with me for that day.
Christy?
Thank you, Christy.
And yes,
you know,
Jay is, I agree.
You know what I mean? So start your day with something positive. Don't just open Facebook and go, oh, you know what I mean? Something that lifts you up. Something that, you know what I mean?
In a better vibration. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at a picture of the mountains. Look at a picture that's going to resonate with you. You know, look at an old West town or something. You know,
I could tell you how my morning typically starts. When I wake up, I got my little mothy back here, my co-host, my co-host back here.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, he's in my bed when he's not here on Wednesday nights. Every morning I wake up, his ass is in my face. That's how I wake up every morning.
Nice.
And I don't know how that happens, but that's what happens.
Intimate contact with Mothy, huh?
It's not consented, I promise.
Right.
But no, that's typically how that goes. But I agree with you. When you wake up in the morning, you know, you've got to find something positive to start your day out. Because if you don't, it kind of almost makes you feel like your whole day's thrown off.
Right. You set your president, you know, set your presidents, you know, I mean, set them up, set yourself up for success, you know, set yourself up and be like, hey, I'm going to do this today. Or another thing I talk about too is speaking affirmations. You know, speak out aloud affirmations when you wake up in the morning. Say, I'm gonna do this. This is gonna happen. This is gonna happen. The whole 9 yards. You keep doing that. You're training your brain to look forward to those positive things. You know what I mean? And so
I am so bad at that.
I am too. I'll admit I'm not. You know,
Morgan constantly says this words. Speak it into the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. Speak it to the universe.
But what I do is I typically speak the negative crap out into the atmosphere. Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Right. I mean, if you ever notice people in the paranormal,
yes,
you know when they start talking about something and the first thing out of their mouth is a complaint.
Yeah.
Okay. not to say anything bad about that person, but what you're doing is, yeah, if you want to express that, and get it out there.
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you getting it out there? What are you looking to gain from expressing that? I've done it. I'm not going to deny that I haven't. Everybody pretty much has, but if you look at it, what is the positive to that? So I started looking at it this way. So when I would have a problem or something on Facebook, or somebody would say something, I would write it down on a piece of paper and my grievances, and then I would burn it. That way, you know what I mean? So I'm trying to visually eliminate that. Yeah, I've written it down. I've said it. It's gone. You know what I mean?
What Morgan started having me do is, if I have, I guess you could say, a gripe with somebody, and I might not be telling the story correctly because I've only done it twice, so I'm not adept to it. She has me write it down, fold it up, put it in a Ziploc bag, and stick it in the freezer.
Okay.
It seems to work.
Right.
I don't know the actual mindset behind it, but it like physically, it doesn't make sense to me because, Jay, you know who I am. I'm a very analytical person.
Right.
It doesn't make sense. But when I do that, those thoughts and that person acting negatively towards me does seem to calm down.
Right. Because the fact that the vibrational frequencies that you have, or that you're sending out, or that you're being proactive in eliminating that negativity in that sense. Yeah, I mean,
Way to look at it.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You're eliminating that. It's like you're taking that narrative out of the book. You know what I mean? And let's say it's a book of BS.
And I see that Morgan's down there in the chat. So Morgan, please correct me if I said it wrong. I think I said it right.
What did she say? What did she say? Yeah, so Morgan knows.
I just like fire.
Well, you're just a weirdo, so
I'm all down for burning. That is fact. That is a fact. And I respect that opinion.
Yeah. Right. So I look at it like in the paranormal field. I have to take everything with a kind of a grain of salt. Yeah, I might not agree with something, but I don't need to get into a battle with somebody over it, unless it's something that internally or personally affects me. You know what I mean? And
Right.
So that's why I have to kind of step away from, if somebody is doing all this BS on Facebook or whatever. And I'm not naming any names, but there's a lot of different people out there.
Yes, thank you, Morgan. That's what I was talking about. Sorry, Jeff.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different people out there who, are very positive, and very encouraging and very supportive. Yeah. And you and I both know that the way we operate is support is key.
It is.
You know what I mean? And so if we're not supported, if we don't have that backbone of support, it's hard for us to keep our footing. And therefore, when we start slipping and we start making mistakes and we start, lashing back at people, and it's unsteady, so that's, I believe full-heartedly that when you support somebody and you go that extra mile to say something kind or to, inspire somebody or whatever. And that's why I do my shows. That's why I do my other show. When you get back to talking about my shows, I have 32. Now, 32 came to me right before I was to go to sleep a couple years ago. Spirit said to me, you should create a show with 32. And I'm like, why 32? Well, if you ever look at the definition of 32, the number itself in spiritual aspects. Yeah. So 32 in the spiritual aspect is basically an inspirational, very like kind of where you're going and how you're going to get there type of thing, kind of like a guidance thing and this and that. So that's the way I was like, oh, okay. So when I talked to my co-host, Elizabeth Merriquin, who's another medium, she thought it was a great idea. And so every once in a while we did a few when we first started, we did quite a few, and then we kind of got few and fewer because we both got busy and this and that. But every once in a while we'll come together and we'll do 32, and people seem to like that because we talk about the spiritual aspects of a lot of different things, and a lot of even in the paranormal, or even mediumship, or whatever, or just support. You know what I mean? So that's why I felt when Spirit kind of led me to create 32, and I like that. I like 32. My other my other show. Oh, gosh, I have the Metal Freedom podcast. I love talking to metal musicians. I grew up on metal. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and Russ, I hope you're feeling better.
Same. Do me a favor.
Man.
Keep that gallon of liquid away from me. I have not had to have a colonoscopy yet. I don't plan on it.
Dude, he just told me that they called code red in the hospital, the fire code. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, great.
Woo,
yeah,
woo.
That's awful.
No, you don't want that.
So yeah, I I have 32, and then I have my other show, my metal show, and then what's the other one? Oh, Paranormal Diner, duh. And Paranormal Diner to me, because I used to have Paranormal Saloon, and that kind of ran out, ran its course, and then Paranormal Diner came to mind, and I'm a big kind of a 50s guy. I like the music in the 50s. I like the crooners music, like Sinatra and all that stuff. Vegas in the 50s, the whole, it was just really, really cool. And
Russ,
so
hang on 1 second, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Could you repost that, Sean? What Russ said? We appreciate that. We're glad to be your entertainment.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so carry on, Jay. Sorry about that. I just felt like that was important.
I love that whole era. So when I started Paranormal Diner, I wanted, like, the pictures that I have that I created were basically of like 1950s Airstream diners.
I love those.
And so all my posters for that are haunted Airstream diners. So when I have a big sign that says Paranormal Diner, and it was really cool. And I just, and I've had some great guests on that show,
No, and I forgot to put that in the intro. I put the Studio 6.
Oh, yeah. No, it's okay.
Real, I completely forgot.
Oh, no, that's totally okay. No. Yeah, I've got, I've interviewed a lot of different people. I've interviewed a lot of, for people from television down to people who are mediums, down to just a fan. You know what I mean? So I just have this. I love talking to people.
Yes.
And as you can tell tonight, I'm really long-winded. So I apologize.
Brother, I already knew this.
Yeah.
That's why when I knew you said yes, and I was looking at my calendar, I was like, man, my teeth are kind of hurting tonight. I know Gwen's probably going to be out once I got that message, and I'm like,
yeah.
But you know what? I got Jeremy, and this is going to be a cake conversation because I know Jay can talk. So
I'm long-winded, and I don't like the sound of my voice, so that's not a reason why I'm long-winded. I just have a lot to say,
right, which is fine.
So yeah, but
I would rather give you the platform to be able to say it, long-winded or not, than you not say it at all.
Right.
So, but I can tell you that down in Panama City, Florida, they used to have this place called Daddy's Diner.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to go there as a kid, they had like the 50 style Airstream set up. It was actually in like an extended Airstream. That's how they custom built the diner. The place was so cool. Elvis stuff everywhere, 50 style music playing. I love that.
Right. I have a dream or a vision that I would love to have come to fruition. Is I would love to create a coffee shop that's what that 40s and 50s motif type thing with Sinatra music playing, that whole genre.
Yeah.
And call it Wise Guys Coffee.
Nice.
Why Wise Guys though?
Just came to me.
Okay, that works.
And I would put underneath the sign just coffee, because it's a coffee shop. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just you. I would have couches in there. I'd have tables. I'd have everything, and yeah, I just and create my own coffee brand, and I drink a lot of it because I don't drink alcohol anymore.
It's literally a coffee shop. Well, you know what, Jay? When I get my next order, please remind me, and I will send you some of my coffee.
Okay, okay. I'm all about coffee.
Yeah,
I used to be a bourbon guy, but now I don't drink anymore. Oh, nice. You're gonna have to help me work on that, because I have an idea for my own coffee, and I'd have to pick your brain about that, because
Yeah.
I kind of don't know how to go about doing that, but I
So-
know that it'd be something that I would like to have.
I can
Okay.
tell you that Morgan is the reason I got this connection. She was the one who set this up.
Okay.
We met them at a Paracon, the main paranormal and horror convention last year. And she approached them, and I was like, I would love to have my own coffee brand. And she approached them and was like, hey, he does this. Would you be willing to collab? And the guy said, absolutely.
Okay.
And that was history.
Right.
They do small batch brews as well. So if you wanted to collab with them, you could give them an idea. And I know Jeff pretty well, so I'm pretty sure that I might be able to work something out for you.
Okay, that'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
You can call it. You can call it Studio 6.
Yeah, all right.
So moving forward, I know that you are a psychic medium.
Mm-hmm.
So could you describe for the people out there who don't know what your abilities are? Because I know every single psychic has a different form of ability to a sense.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
What would you describe your abilities as?
All encompassing. I mean, I kind of do everything. I can read people. Number one, people. Yeah, so I read people as in like their energies, their auras, all that stuff. What kind of intentions they have, maybe what kind of issues that they're having currently, or what they may have, or some past issues. So that's how pretty easily. Okay. Other thing is doesn't miss a thing. Not really. I don't. Also, I can talk to the deceased. I have. I also do remote viewing. I also I do readings, but I used to do readings before, but I don't really do readings per se as like any of those famous people on TV that do readings. I don't I don't really do that anymore, just because of the fact that I'm more focused on the history aspect of some of the documentaries that I want to start working on, or if I'm investigating, or if I'm investigating with somebody else, a paranormal team, and I do psychic sweeps. My biggest thing is I do psychic sweeps. You know what I mean? But I'm a very subtle, I guess, humble type medium. I don't market myself. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Not because
go ahead.
Not because I don't want to. It's just the fact that spirit kind of just, that's where I need to be. You know what I mean?
Right. And I feel like when I first met you at Broadhead, I mean, we had obviously talked on the podcast before, and I met you at Broadhead. I feel like I got a small glimpse into that when you were talking about the railroad tracks.
Yeah. Because that's what I saw. You know what I mean? And that's what I sensed. The frequency of the energy, of the residual energy in the past, played a role in Broadhead, especially the railroad tracks. And that's Bill confirmed that there were tracks there at one point.
Yes. Excuse me. So let me ask you, with all of your experience doing mediumship, right? if there was one advice or one piece of advice that you could give to someone who is just discovering that they have abilities, right? What would that piece of advice be as far as being able to, I guess you could say, not only harness the ability, embrace it, and to be able to use it properly? And also, do you think it's important to keep yourself spiritually grounded during those situations?
Okay, so the second part of that question, 100% definitely. 100%, hands down. Ground yourself constantly because you need that frequency to come to you on an even keel. If you're not grounded, you're going to cause static that's going to make that frequency go this way, that way, and the other way. Okay, so grounding is key. Okay, the other part of that, when you're talking about in the beginning of the question, is look at yourself as a humble individual constantly. Like you're a giver, your intentions are pure, and you constantly practice that. Because once ego gets in there, and I've seen a lot of mediums let ego just twist and turn the gears in their head because they know, hey, I can make money doing this. Okay. And that's where ego comes in. And so that's where it kind of shuts off that frequency, that true intention. You may get bits and pieces in here and there, but if you're not humble enough to realize I have to relax, this is who I am, I accept this is, you know what I mean? And you have to basically think of yourself as not a low man on the totem pole, but kind of just like, okay, I'm experiencing this and I'm doing this. And stay true to yourself always. You know what I mean? And that's key. And allowing frustrations, anger, fear, doubt is normal. Doubt is something that I deal with still to this day. And I have that saying, if I don't see it, I don't say it. Now, there has to be some type of boundaries that you create for yourself so that you can move forward. And your learning is to team up or look for somebody that has mentorship abilities. And that's what I had to do. I found somebody that was a mentor to me, and she is a very good friend of mine. And she saw my gifts right away before I even realized what I had. And instead of her having me take a class, she looked into me and said, I can't have you in this class because this would be boring for you. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? She's like, you are far more advanced than you realize. And this is just remedial. She says, I'm going to take you on myself and help you to grow and to teach you these things. And which she did.
It's always good to have that backup system. So I feel like it's kind of what I've noticed is it's a little bit of a trend for people who, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this by all means. And also, we were talking about angel numbers earlier. I just want to show you something real quick because this is really fucking weird. I just noticed this. I stacked my phone up on some books because I need the height.
Yeah. Angel numbers.
Right.
That is crazy. But I feel like I've noticed that when a lot of people are first coming into their abilities and they're first learning them, right?
Right.
And so many people will tell them, oh, you have abilities, and they kind of ignore it. But when they finally realize, hey, I have abilities, they don't really know how to accept it.
There's a stigmata kind of when it comes to mediums and psychics and this and that. And it's a ancient kind of thought process that people have had, even from way back when the spiritualism movement back in the early 1900s, there were certain groups of people that would portray themselves as mediums back in the day, like the Fox sisters. If anybody knows who the Fox sisters are, they were right. And they were, they would do the taps and the levitating table and all this stuff, so it's kind of like people, the average populace would see that and then would kind of transcend saying, don't listen to mediums, they're full of crap, they're, you know, this is fake, this is evil, this is that. So going into that, being a, you know, learning and being a medium or realizing that you have this gift, what a lot of people who don't experience it or don't live that type of lifestyle with mediumship or gifts like that, it's a very scary time. I mean, it's very emotionally scary. You're always in fear of retribution. You're in fear of people, what they think about you, which you lose friends over it, or they think you're crazy, or all this stuff. I went through all of that, and I was laughed at. I was cussed at. I was, you know, called evil. I was called, you know, this and that. And I grew up in not a religious household, but a standard Christian normal household, you know, where, you know, we read the Bible, we did this and did that. And, you know, and so it doesn't flow with the way I grew up, but I've always been that way. You know what I mean? So people need to realize is that because your spirituality is so important, and to tap into that spirituality, you can be a Christian, you can be religious, you can be, you know what I mean? You have to follow your heart and able to explore who you truly are. If you truly feel uncomfortable about being it and it resonates with you, then don't do it. But that doesn't even have to go with being a medium. That can go with being an auto mechanic. That can go with being,
that's fair.
You know what I mean? A preacher, or can be a teacher. If that doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. Find something that resonates with you internally. Meditation, you can help do that. You know, talking with like-minded people. You know, reading good books. Whole 9 yards.
Because Morgan tells me all the time that I have abilities. I don't see it. I can tell you that I will tell you that it's possible because I have precognition sometimes. I'll have dreams and I'll see things before they happen.
Right.
In a way that I guess it's a form of ability, correct?
It is. It definitely is. And, you know, being clairvoyant myself, it took me a long time to be actually accept. It was weird how it all just developed from getting involved in the paranormal, and I never even knew I had those abilities. And it took several years of just like learning little things, like being able to speak to spirits and being able to communicate and see them. And all of a sudden, like when somebody actually helped me verify it, it felt like, I'm not vindicated, but it felt like it made sense finally. And I was able to finally accept it. So I definitely, it took a long time for me to even accept it myself. So I understand everything Jay is talking about.
I 100% get it. I'm still not yet willing to admit that I have abilities of any kind, because I don't market myself as any kind of person who has abilities.
Right.
But I cannot deny the fact that I do have dreams and see things before they happen.
Right. And so, that is something for you that I see in you that you could sit on that for a while, which is okay. You know what I mean? And by you hooking up, I shouldn't say that. You getting with Morgan, getting with Morgan, you know, that is kind of like a foundational piece to you. So it's not something that you think that you need to rush, or nothing that you need to force, or nothing like that. When the time is right, especially for you, it's almost like you have other things, not that it's not important, but more important things in certain areas in the paranormal in your life that you focus on, and that you should probably know that you focus on, and you should focus on. So that, you know what I mean? So not to take anything away, exactly not to take anything away from you, but just know that by being with Morgan, that's also like somebody holding a hand behind your back so that you don't fall. And she's always going to be there.
Fair. And it was,
you know what I mean?
I think it was 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago. The first time I got invited to go down to the Salem Paranormal and Horror Convention down there in Salem, Mass. I was supposed to be there Friday night. the night before, I had dreamed that there was something that was just going to happen. I didn't know what it was. It was all blurry. I came home from work that day. I'm like, man, I just don't feel like driving down to Salem. So I called up Thomas Gormley and said, hey, brother, I'll be at the Airbnb tomorrow. Something's just telling me not to drive down there tonight.
Right.
He said, all right, I'll see you tomorrow. And that night, at about the time that I would have been passing through, there was a humongous 10-car pileup.
Really?
Yeah.
So precognition, perhaps. I don't know.
Right.
But so can I ask you, with your abilities, before we get into the next thing I want to talk about real quick, I can't believe it's already been 42 minutes. But
I know, holy crap.
But don't worry, we're going to hit everything. We're going to get it. But
okay.
So when you go into a place, right, and you're doing your paranormal side, and as far as your paranormal investigating, right, did you prefer to go in cold? Because you're a history lover like I am.
Yeah. No, I don't want to know a damn thing.
But is it different? But being a history lover like I am, is it difficult for you not to research before you go?
No.
No.
Not at all. Nope. The ones that I do know, I know. I mean, there's certain places that I've been to, like Stanley Hotel. I know some of the history. I've been through the tour. I've had, the 2 times I was there, I had paranormal experiences, spiritual experiences. You know what I mean? So, there's other places that I've been to that I know a little bit of the history, but it's still, yeah, I'll be totally. It doesn't take much for me to look into it. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't need to read them. I can read a book. And I love history. I love reading about history. That's great. But I've come to realize that the more I read about history, the more I'm kind of defeating the purpose of what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I want to be able to not know, and I want to be able to explore that. I want to get that, like validation. I want to be able, like Jeremy said, that validation of something that I know is true, and somebody can validate. Say, yeah, how did you know that? And it's like, well, that's just part of who I am.
Yeah.
I don't try to. Yeah, I don't try to overshoot the mark. You know what I mean? I don't want to look like I'm important, or I don't want to look like I know everything, because I don't. When it comes to doing that history side of it, I kind of like to just be in the dark about it.
See, and that's why I asked, because I kind of assumed you wanted to go in cold and then do the research afterwards. But my whole thought process here was, I know you love history about as much as I do. Mm-hmm. So is it tempting to look up the history?
No.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Really? No, because I'll get that,
Yeah. I totally agree with it. I think that going into a location not knowing about all the spirits that are there, it gives you a chance to naturally connect with them. If you're going in there with a preconceived notion of what you're going to expect, then you might miss out on the ones that actually want to talk to you versus the ones that are living there, or the ones that are there have probably been talked to so many times they don't want to bother with your ass, to be honest with you. So
that's very fair.
It's I've had it happen numerous times where I've gone to locations and I won't even look up anything about it. I mean, I've heard of a place, like a Lizzie Borden's or like, Eastern State Penitentiary, but
Lizzie Borden's overrated.
I'm not saying that it wasn't. I'm just saying that, either way, I've been to locations where I don't like to know, because I like to just let the natural energy and see where the connections go during the course of the evening, So
I never looked at it that way.
Right. So speaking of, just real quick, the Lizzie Borden house. Anybody who is gifted that looks into that household knows that story is tragic. It's very sad. It's very moving.
It's heavy.
It's very heavy. And so it's almost like I don't think I could go there now. I just feel it's almost like I have to stand in front of that house and say, I am truly sorry for what you experienced.
Yeah.
I give you my deepest condolences of all the trauma that went on in this house. You know what I mean? And everything that happened. And I felt bad. You know what I mean? And so it's like there's certain places that, you know, people say are haunted and this and that, and you know, it's just crazy because that's where these people think, oh, it's a big cash cow, I can make a lot of money doing it. What a lot of people don't realize too is that when you open your home or your so-called haunted location up to people, you're also inviting the energies that these people carry on in there.
Yes.
And depending on the energies or the frequencies that this person is giving off, it just could be for an investigation. The person could be unknowing, but there's a way to protect that establishment, which I had to do once when we were investigating in Kentucky or in Ohio, I should say, at a funeral home. I was told specifically what to do by spirit of how to remove the negative entity that was in there, as well as protect everybody else that was investigating. And I might have overshot the mark because we didn't get a damn thing. And this place was supposed to be as haunted as AF. And there's been like para-celebrities in there that had great evidence and this and that. And we didn't get nothing. Because of the fact of what...
Sorry, Jay. That was the same
ahead.
thing that happened to me when I went to Lizzie Borden. I went to the Lizzie Borden house. I recreated the murder of Mr. Borden on the couch.
Right.
God.
I experienced nothing. I was like, okay, so I'm going to up the ante here. I'm going to step up my game. So I booked Mrs. Borden's bedroom. I actually slept on the floor where they found her body.
Oh, dear Lord.
Experienced nothing the whole night. Not a sound.
Right.
And maybe it was my energy that was off. Maybe they saw that I was, maybe I was disrespecting them because I was recreating these things.
It's not so much that. It's like I said, like I slept on the floor of a funeral home and got nothing. You know what I mean? And so what I tell people too with that when they do investigations, the frequency has to be right. The frequency has to be, you know what I mean? It's not something that happens every moment of the day. You know what I mean? It's like
hit or miss.
people talk about, well, we don't investigate during the day because this or that. And it's like, it doesn't matter if it's day or night or dusk or dawn. It doesn't matter.
You can catch just as much activity during the day as you can at night.
It depends on the frequency of what's there, or depending, it's just frequency is key. And once you learn the frequency, or if there's a frequency shift, or that there's a frequency, or if things feel off, I can pretty much guarantee that you probably might get something. Because if your internal barometer is going crazy, so yeah.
Now you're gonna send me down a rabbit hole because I've got to start looking into this.
Oh yeah. And Morgan knows about it too. We didn't talk about it really much when I interviewed her, but I know she knows. See, I can look into people, and if they've got that, I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like a spark, kind of like a light. It's like Christmas lights. Okay. And one light lights up, the other one lights up, and it's like, oh, that's that, and that's for that, and that's, you know what I mean? So, and of course, you know me, I use a lot of analogies just because I'm a weirdo.
Yes.
So.
And all of my Christmas lights, for the record, have blown the fuse. They're held together with like a makeshift aluminum foil stuffed back down in there.
Oh my God.
That's a fire hazard waiting to happen.
I see that most definitely. If I spontaneous human combust, y'all know why now. But
that's another thing that scares the crap out of me. There's not too much that scares the crap out of me, but that does. I can't explain that. I looked into that. I can't explain that for nothing.
No, because how does your body superheat to the point where you can have limbs still left?
Yeah, that's freaky. That's just freaky.
Around it. Yeah, nothing around it is burned.
I've seen pictures of it. I've read books about it years ago, and I still have haunting images
Yeah.
Oh, that's just disgusting. And it's just,
Yeah, the old lady in Britain.
yes,
Both of her
stop.
feet were
Oh,
left.
that's,
I've seen
yes.
the
know exactly
pictures.
what
Oh
I'm
dear
talking
God,
about.
yes. Oh,
I know
God.
exactly what you're talking about. And
Yep.
it's that to me is terrifying. And I've tried to briefly look into it a couple different times and I can't do it. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know.
I want to know what caused it so it doesn't happen to me.
Mm.
But science has never been able to explain it. So
No.
I see we got about 8 minutes left. And Jay, I told you we were going to hit on this in the pre-show, and I definitely want to hit on this. I want to talk about your new project going on, Shadows Behind History.
Right. And Christy's right. Our body is made up of gases. And that's where I discovered that too.
Yeah.
But that still doesn't explain the orange hue of goo that is around the
yes,
bodies.
it is not podcast appropriate, Morgan. You hold that to yourself. But so I want to talk about this.
Okay.
I want to talk about the shadows be behind history, because I kind of feel like you're looking into these places that are not very well known and these people that might not be very well known, and you're bringing, I guess, a quote unquote forgotten history back to life. You're telling these stories.
Right. So these are all my theories on how I want to start this to go. I just upped the campaign, the fundraiser, the crowdfunding amount. I had it at 75,000. This time I have it at 125,000 because I think that there's more things that I need to do with this. Now, I need equipment, I need travel expense, I need all this stuff.
Right.
Part of this is living expenses as well. I mean, so I've kind of incorporated all that in there. I have this goal to be able to reach out to people like, especially like in Gettysburg, families that have lost part of their history to the war and to the Civil War and whatever, you know what I mean? I want to be able to, I want people's stories to be told in that sense, you know what I mean? And not so much even for the paranormal aspect, but there's got to be some positive stories that come out of this, you know what I mean? And it's not just for Gettysburg, it's for other places too. It's wherever there was a tragedy, something that I want to try to find that light of that story. And if I am running into the paranormal while doing this, which I probably would, because I'll be able to see what happens in that space, I will be able to explain that in a way where people would understand. Right. And in a way where people are like, oh, this is like every other paranormal TV show. It's not. I'm not. I don't go around and squeeze everything into an hour show and do all with equipment. I want to be able people to hear the story, see the story, and connect with these people that are part of history. And that's why I say it's the history behind the shadows, so to speak, is that there is stories to be told.
That have never.
And what do we always say when we're investigating and you have a spirit that's supposedly contacting you through a spirit box, whatever? What's the one thing that we ask them? What do you want to tell us? What is your story?
Yes.
And that's the way I look at it. Is if I can get that on camera, if I can have this type of these little documentaries or these little stories to come out in a way where people can hear the other side of it, where it's not just what is written in textbooks. It's what people, have experienced, or stories from ancestors or parents or children or grandchildren or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
when somebody goes to school and say, yeah, my grandfather and so did this and they died here and this was because of the Civil War, and there's a story behind there. There's something positive behind there. It's a tragedy, but what came out of it? Look at where you're at now. So there's so many different facets to doing a documentary. It's not, and I am not a true documentary type person. I didn't go to college for it. I don't nothing, not really nothing, but I don't know how to be a professional documentarian. You know, I
Right.
don't, but I have what is in my heart and in my mind, a vision of what I see could be done, creating a documentary, creating the film, and creating this and this. I think that I have great ideas for that, and that I want to be able to express that. You know what I mean?
with
And
the
that's
right
why I want to try to raise some money for this.
and with the right people, it could be an amazing concept.
I agree.
Mhm.
So where can
Right.
people find this? Where can people donate to this?
It's on Fundraiser. It's RAZZER, I think it is. But I'll send you the link.
Please do.
Yeah, I'll send you the link, and then you can put it up, or wherever you want to put it up is fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I agree with you. Like, especially when it comes to battlefields and stuff, like everybody has a story that's never been told. Like a lot of people don't know that my great, like I think like 7th great aunt was found guilty for witchcraft during the Salem witch trials.
Right.
A lot of people don't know that.
Well, that would explain a lot.
Yeah,
No, just kidding. Just kidding.
The witch trials fortunately stopped a week before she was supposed to be executed.
Right.
And she just disappeared off the map. No one knows where she went. No death certificate. Nothing. But I do have a photocopy of the original arrest warrant.
Right. So that is the story that is told through history of what the witch trials was. It is just now in the last, I would say, 10 years, a lot of the truth is coming out for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of the real truth of why. And if you
Land
and
disputes, mass hysteria,
not to poke a political fan here, but part of that repeats itself, and it has for centuries, all the way up to where we're at now.
Agreed.
And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah,
I agree. But Jay, I see we got a little bit under a minute left. I'm sure Jeremy doesn't mind, and Sean won't mind if we run like 2 or 3 minutes over. So I typically end my show with 3 normal questions that everyone out there who watches my show knows what I ask. But since you've been on my show before, I thought it would be boring if I ask you the same 3 questions. So we're going to modify this a little bit.
Okay.
Being a podcaster, you can go to one historical location to do a live broadcast from said location. It does not have to be haunted, just any historical location that you've always wanted to visit. Where are you going to do your podcast from?
Room 217 in Stanley.
Room 217? Then I was not expecting that answer. I was expecting the whole building, but room 217.
Because I know what's there. And
interesting.
Yeah, it's not what people think. And I'm not going to say anything about it, but
so we got room 217 at the Stanley. Your filming device, microphone, headphones, inherent. Those do not count. What other piece of podcast equipment are you bringing with you?
Wait, repeat that. What did you say?
So your laptop or whatever your filming device is, right?
Right.
Microphone and your headphones are inherent. You don't have to worry about those. What other piece of podcasting equipment are you bringing with you?
My phone.
Your phone. That's fair.
Yeah.
I'll take it. So we're going to room 217 at the Stanley. You're bringing your phone because your other equipment's inherent. Finally, during this interview, you can interview one person. They can be alive or dead and do not have to be connected to the paranormal whatsoever. Who are you interviewing for this show in room 217 at the Stanley?
That's a great question. He would be awesome.
I might have stumped him on this one.
No,
I'm messing with you.
Who's the guy who played in Die Hard that fell off the Nakatomi building?
Oh, I don't know his name.
Alan Rickman. Yes, I would interview him.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Wouldn't it?
That would.
Yeah.
He's such a good actor, so underrated.
That's
Yeah,
an amazing.
he was.
That's an amazing connection. The Stanley Hotel and Alan Rickman. Jesus Christ.
That is a great answer.
Yeah.
But Jay, I appreciate you coming on the show for a little bit over an hour today. It was an amazing conversation. I've got to have you back on because I still didn't get through all of my questions because
I know.
But you know, we every time we talk, it's always awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing you if you can make it to Broadhead in June. I'm looking forward to seeing you. If you wouldn't mind just hanging around in the background, but before you go, plug your stuff, man. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Facebook at JAYJD.Hill. You can find also J Hill Paranormal or Psychic Medium Paranormal Investigator on Facebook as well. That's my other page. J Hill on Instagram, studio.6.media on Instagram, as well as Paranormal Diner on Instagram and Studio 6 Media on TikTok, as well as Studio 6 Media on Threads as well.
Y'all be sure to go.
You can also find me at Studio 6 Media on YouTube. That's where all my podcasts are. All my podcasts are under one banner.
Anyone out there watching, be sure to go and follow them and subscribe to their YouTube, because let me tell you, you're not going to be disappointed when it comes to Jay Hill. You will not.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
He's a very good friend of mine, and I give him my seal of approval.
I'll take it.
You take it? You know what? Not many people would. They'd be like, man, I don't fucking want that shit.
Who's this weirdo?
But Jay, I love you to death, brother, and I thank you so much for coming on the show for an hour. If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for a few minutes, we're going to close out the show, and I'll be right with you.
All right. Thank you.
My God, man, what a show, huh?
So, Jeremy, what'd you think of the show, brother?
You know, he was an amazing guest. I know he's got his irons dipped in so many fires. It's unbelievable. You know,
Dude, there was so much more that we could have taken up another half-hour conversation, for sure. But I know that you got your show coming up here in about an hour?
About half an hour, about 28 minutes from now.
Yeah. So don't want to hold you too long, but dude, that was an amazing conversation. I love having Jay on as a guest. He is so awesome. I would highly recommend you reach out to have him on your show. I'm sure you guys could pick each other's brains, and you guys would be awesome together.
You know, I just sent him a friend request as we were sitting here shooting this shit. But you know what? You never know who you're going to run into that you have a lot of in common with, especially between the podcasting and the mediumship and the clairvoyancy and all that stuff. So he's a really cool guy to meet tonight, you know, and you know, thank you for having me on as a special co-host. I don't get a chance to do it very often, so I appreciate your time, you know.
I thank you because you didn't have to do it, so I appreciate it. But guys, that was the Paranormal Unveiled second show of Wicked Wednesday. If you missed earlier the Paramystic podcast with Christina Bloom, go and check out the replay she had on Glenn. I don't want to botch the last name, but
I think Glenn Bottis, and they did the importance of joy. It was actually the topic of the conversation.
I look at it and I see Bodice is what I see, and
I saw a bodice like you actually like a woman would wear like a bodice kind of a thing. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw the last.
Buddy, that's a bonnet, not a bodice.
The body thing? I think that's a bodice. I don't know.
Is it a bonnet? I mean, a bonnet thing. I would think corset.
Dude, I wear crazy shirts. It doesn't make a difference. What the hell is?
I mean, I wear corsets. It don't make a difference to me neither.
It's all good.
I'm joking. I don't wear corsets, for the record, everybody out there watching. But but if I did, you'd never know. But anyways, yeah, or would you? But so coming up next for the final show of the lineup for Wicked Wednesday, we have our own co-host here, Jeremy Cotter. I keep forgetting my camera's on the other side. Which side? This side. Nope, this side. Jeremy Cotter with Twisted Tales. And his guests tonight are two of my favorite people in the paranormal.
Oh, God,
He has on Danny and Lauren Perez, the Radicals.
And that's going to be an amazing show. Talk about two people who have their irons dipped in many, many fires themselves.
Too
It's
much.
going to be an awesome conversation. That's going to be one of those ones I can do on autopilot because they're just so cool.
Dude, you could just sit back and not say a damn word. They're just gonna go.
Oh, I know. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So,
I am looking forward to that show. You know I'm gonna tune in. And everybody out there watching, I appreciate you tuning in. And I hope you have a great night. Do not forget to go back and watch the replay of Paramystic Podcast. Stay tuned for Twisted Tales. Get your whole trifecta for the Wicked Wednesdays. And I will see you all next week for the Paranormal Unveiled podcast, as my guest is Bill Walter from Broadhead Manor. We're going to be pushing the Beard Brawl at Broadhead Manor, June 5th and 6th. And I will see you all next week. Same spooky time, same spooky network.